Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Texas. We are here for your second time today in iRacing broadcasting. This time for NASCAR iRacing Series Fixed. We've got an exciting race for you in store from the Texas Motor Speedway after what we saw unfold earlier in the eNASCAR Pro Invitational. I'm joined again by my teammate Richard Tam. Richard, how are you doing today, and what are you looking forward to?
I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to a fantastic race. There's several Coca-Cola eNASCAR Series drivers, and we all know how good they are, and lots of clean racing, lots of green flag running. So that's what I'm sure you, as well as our viewers, are also hoping for.
Absolutely, and your strength of field for today's race will be 6.5K, I believe. And with 1 minute left in qualifying, right now your pole sitter, the number 21 car, Nick Indelexico, currently sitting in pole by half a tenth from Brandon Hoff. None of your eNASCAR drivers currently setting times, but it'll be interesting to see some of these drivers maybe doing a last to first challenge. Richard, what are we looking at in terms of the fuel windows for some of these drivers?
The tires will wear before the fuel for the most part. I've seen drivers go as much as 65, 66 laps on tires. It really depends on the cautions. Hopefully, we'll have a relatively clean one, but I believe after that 67 lap or so, the tires are just going to fall off, and you're better off pitting for tires.
So as we come to the end of qualifying, we have 19 cars, I think, that set a lap. So let's go ahead and look at today's grid. Richard, do you want to go over the first 10 cars?
No problem. Starting on pole, the number 21 car of Nick Indelexico. Sorry, apologies. Outside of row 1, Trevor Perry. Row 2, we got Will Norton and Brandon Hoff. Row 3, we got Colin Bowden and Stephen Massey. Next row is Jordy Lopez Jr. and Gareth Conrath. Rounding up your top 10 are Colton Salek and Derek Justice. Arjuna, you want to do the next 10?
Your next 10 drivers, you're going to have Alec Martinez lining up on the inside. Next to him will be Donovan Strauss, then Ryan Duchette, Caden Honeycutt, Blaze Crawford, Max R. Brady, Todd Guerin, Brad Wright, Casey Curran, your first eNASCAR Coca-Cola driver. Then you got Patrick Mallet at the edge of your top 10. Richard, do you want to take the next 10?
No problem. Next we have Steven Wilson. Starting beside him is Alan Bowes. Next two drivers are Blake Bryant and Brer LaPrade. Next, Spencer Burns and Michael Fenolson. Jimmy Mullis, Isaac Gann, and the last two are Nicholas Shelton and Josh Berry.
Then the drivers, your last 7 drivers, you're going to have Steve Sheehan lining up next to him, Sam Adams, then Michael Gorilia, Malik Ray, Parker Alexander, Jerry Keat, and Kane T. Cook will bring up the rear of your field. I think your cars are ready to go on pit lane right now.
I'm really, really excited to see how the Coca-Cola eNASCAR drivers match up against the other group of premier NASCAR drivers who just missed out on the eNASCAR Coca-Cola Series.
Now remember, none of your eNASCAR Coca-Cola drivers did set a qualifying time. So Casey Kerwin going to be one of your first cars, I think, starting in 19th position. So he's going to have some work to do. He's also going to have to try and avoid any cautions. So Richard, we've got two. Obviously, people like to think of ovals as being, the same kind of corners at each end of the track. But what do the drivers have to deal with in turns 1 and 2 versus in turns 3 and 4?
Well, since the reconfiguration at Texas, which we recently, iRacing recently brought on, and is free for all members who bought the old Texas, turns 1 and 2, you're going to have to do a slight lift, very similar to how the IndyCar is. 3 and 4, you're going to try and be as flat out as possible. However, given that these Cup cars are on the V7 tires, it's going to take, unlike the V6 model, it's going to take us some time for these tires to get up to temperature. So managing your tires is going to be very, very important.
So we get ready to go racing here. Your field in control of your 44 car. Rather, it's meant to be the 21 car, but he's got a custom paid on with the 44 car number. So that's going to be a little confusing for us as we head into the first corner. Too wide down the field right now. Casey Kerwin is starting to make up some positions here, already up 1 position, but he's going to get the run blocked by the 16 car in front of him here. 3 car behind, thinking about taking him 3 wide. Falls into line as the 16 car continues to slide backwards up the track now, and the 30 car is going to take advantage of that.
All the drivers trying to find their way in this opening lap. Some are still going too wide into one. They're kind of funneling out. The 16 car of Todd Guerin went a little bit high, but manages to keep the position.
You take a look at Casey Kerwin, who is giving a push to the car in front of him as he passes the 24 car now. Casey already up 3 positions. Let's head back out front though. Your leader continuing to hug that inside line all the way around the track. And now Will Norton up 1 position from his starting place of 3rd to move into 2nd.
Colin Bowden trying to make a move on the 29 and Trevor Perry going into 3. And he gets the position.
Trevor Perry currently stuck on the outside. He's losing a lot of positions right now after starting in 2nd place. Jordi Lopez, another car, sneaking down the inside of Trevor Perry as he's now back in 7th position. Another car struggling. Garrett Conrath, who's just been passed by Casey Kerwin. He's also down 7 positions from his starting place. Casey Kerwin, though, up into 14th. That's a gain of 5 positions from where he started. Jimmy Mullis also up 4 positions into 23rd. And Malik Ray, your other Coca-Cola eNASCAR driver, in 28th.
Brandon Huff just cleared Will Norton, or almost cleared him. Will Norton's trying to fight on the outside going into 3, but that inside line is just too good. Will Norton might lose another position and does to Jordi Lopez.
And Colin Bowden also looking to the inside now of Will Norton. It does appear once you get stuck up high, you get a little stuck. You can also see Trevor Perry now. He's made his way back into the inside line and appears to be slowly working his way back up, passing all those cars getting stuck on that outside line. 3 wide action a little further back. I'll get to it eventually. It's Garrett Conrath, Stephen Wright, and we've got contact. And we've got an incident. We've got a big incident. I believe that will bring out the caution. They're still crashing, unfortunately, under yellow. They're still crashing. And we're going to have a lot of incidents to review here. Let's get started.
Looks like the 3 car of Steven Wilson, he just kind of ping-ponged this, the 2 cars that were on his left and right that caused that chain reaction.
So we look at one incident here. It was the driver Isaac Gann. I'm going to take a look at it again from his roll bar. Unfortunately, just losing the car, trying to slow, seeing the incident in front of him. And unfortunate for him. Now let's take a look at Nicholas Shelton, another driver caught up in this incident. He's also further back in this field, trying to check up. And again, just losing the rear of the car. And you can see the 15 and the 3 as well. So many cars getting involved there. We'll have to take a look quickly. Are they coming down onto pit road? I think the field currently still... No, we're a bit delayed. They are currently on pit road. Everybody down onto pit road right now.
It does look like we have our first DNF of this race, Gareth Conrath, who had a very good qualifying, starting in 8th position, will unfortunately be the 37th and final driver in this 167 lap race.
So we look at the race off pit road. Your leader continuing to stay out front. But Caden Honeycutt appears to be your big winner there, up 12 positions so far in this race. I wasn't sure where he started coming into the pit lane, but now up into second. So you see the final drivers coming down pit lane. We're going to quickly try and look again at this incident. Just give us 1 second. Some technical issues making it difficult to figure out. Nope, still struggling here.
It was just really unfortunate just to see that 3 wide incident.
Who was the drivers involved? Can you give me a little hand? Who are the main drivers involved as I try to go backwards? Okay, I think I found it, so let's see if we could take a look. The 3 of Stephen Wilson, one of the cars involved. He pings-pongs up into the 9 car there. That's what causes some of the chaos. So your 3 car on pit lane as well. The lights are out on the pace car, so we are going to go back to green flag racing this time around. All your cars did come down for tires and fuel. So a very short run so far, and we've still got 150 laps or so to go in this race. Let's take a look at some of your Coca-Cola eNASCAR drivers. Casey Curran up 11 places. He currently runs in, he's up 8 positions running in 11th. Then you have Jimmy Mullis in the Coca-Cola Energy car. He's up 9 positions into 18th position.
Kane Cook is another big winner here. Started 37th. He's now in 23rd.
So,
and Malik Ray still managed to get another 4 positions to 30th.
Just to finish, Richard, Steve Sheehan, another Coca-Cola driver, up 3 positions in 28th. And then Michael Gariglia, he's up 1 position. He's in 32nd right now. But we're going to jump back to the front of your field. The field in control of your leader, Nick Indelectico. And he's going to pull away. Caden Honeycutt on the outside is going to try and clear Brandon Hoff as they go down into turn 1. Jordi Lopez trying to now look to the inside of Caden Honeycutt and move his way up into 4th. Further back in the field, Trevor Perry getting a push from Casey Curran right now. You see cars trying to dive to the inside. The inside definitely the preferred line here right now on these brand new tires.
Blake Bryant trying to get on the outside but can't seem to get past Eric Justice. Stephen Massey and Jimmy Mullis are right behind looking to pounce.
You see cars battling for track position right now. I think your pole position leader, pole position winner and leader for most of the race, Nick Indelectico, currently now in 4th. I think he got pushed up into the outside line. And as we've seen so many times today, as the 12 car of Brandon Hoff also goes up high, that high line definitely not where cars want to be right now. There's some great battling though further back in your field. Blake Bryant looking to the inside of Derek Justice right now. Blake Bryant up 11 positions as he gets the move done on Derek Justice, but Derek is going to try and look to the outside with his superior momentum, trying to find a little hole, and he's going to slot in front of Ryan Duchette. Casey Kerwin, though.
Casey Kerwin is still moving up. Sorry to interrupt, but
I think we noticed him at the same time. He's trying to make that outside line work right now.
That Jordan, that 23, that his usual eNASCAR number 23 is in car 1. for this race. It's a very distinct Michael Jordan paint scheme.
And obviously Casey racing for Denny Hamlin Racing. Denny Hamlin, who won the first round of the NASCAR Pro Invitational Series, not having the strongest race this time around. Casey Curran currently 8th after not setting a representative qualifying time. He put in a time that effectively left him as the last qualifier with a time set, and he's now back down onto the inside line, up 13 positions. Jimmy Mullis also up a similar number of positions in his Coca-Cola Energy car, but after starting even further back, he's only up into 15th position right now.
The drivers in this race so far seem very aggressive, but also at the same time understands that it's only lap 15, so good racing all throughout the pack so far.
And like we mentioned at the start of this race, strength of field for this top split NASCAR NASCAR iRacing series. I'm getting my series confused here. Top split of this Sunday night final race for these guys. Final chance for some of these guys to get a championship points, if that's what their aim is. And Jimmy Mullis now looking to the inside, and he's going to get a push from the 30 behind him. And that is the car of Brad White. Casey Kerwin, though, now up into 3rd position, right on the tail of Caden Honeycutt, looking for a way past, as you have Donovan Strauss looking to the inside there. But Casey Kerwin, one of the few cars, seems to be able to make this outside line work, Richard.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Casey Kerwin is the one car with an estimated iRating of around 8,500, so he certainly knows his ways around these NASCAR Cup cars.
Looks like, unfortunately, not able to get the pass done here. And Trevor Perry behind him, looking for which lane is going to be the one. He might be thinking about pushing Casey Kerwin, but Casey Kerwin slotting back down into the inside. As you can see, it's basically single file now. As I say that, Caden Honeycutt getting shuffled out to the outside now. Casey Kerwin going to push. Oh, we've got a caution!
Sorry to interrupt. There is a yellow.
And I believe the driver involved already back into pit lane, so let's go ahead and take a look at this replay. It might have been a single car incident. Oh, no, apologies. It is a 30 of Brad Wright, and I think he gets turned there by the 13 car. That is Spencer E. Burns.
Spencer there tried to get on the inside of Brad, and unfortunately he wasn't clear, which caused that incident.
Yeah, we just go back and try and take a look from the onboard. I don't think the roll bar shot is going to give us the view we want, so let's switch to the onboard cockpit. And you can see the
despite the incident, it's only a one-car incident.
Only a one-car incident, but you could see the 32 slotting in front of the 30 there, as many of these cars back down onto pit lane. And I think Spencer Burns just trying to maybe do the same thing that the 32 car did and try and work his way down to the inside of cars in front of him. As again, we're going to watch and see who wins this race off pit road. Your leader, or your pole position winner, no longer the leader of the race. But maybe some cars doing 2 stops with another short abbreviated fuel run. But it's going to be Donovan Strauss followed by Jordi Lopez. And then Caden Honeycutt and Casey Kerwin in 4th now. Nick Indelectico, your pole position winner, might even be shuffled back. No, he's in 5th position. Trevor Perry, your 2nd place car, is going to line up right behind him. As the cars just file back behind the pace car, let's take one more look again at some of your big winners. Donovan Strauss, your current leader of the race, up 11 positions. Doing a great job. It's so early in the race right now. We've already had 2 cautions. You're going to hope that maybe not too many more, and maybe we can get a nice long green flag run.
Casey Kerwin Blake Bryan have also, as you can see, moved up the grid quite a few positions.
Yeah, Casey Curran up 13 places, Blake Bryan 16 places. Then you have your next Coca-Cola eNASCAR driver, Jimmy Mullis again. He's up 15 places, up into 12th now, so slowly working his way up. Then you have Malik Ray. He's up 18 places in his Rowdy Energy Toyota Camry. Your final World Championship drivers in the race right now. Steve Sheehan, he's up 8 places, working his way slowly through the field. And Michael Gariglia up 7 places, having a bit more of a struggle trying to work his way back after not qualifying. None of your Coca-Cola eNASCAR drivers actually qualified for this race. Good to see them slowly working their way up. We do have a few cars who are a lap down. 32 cars still on the lead lap and circulating. And I think we might have one more lap after this, Richard. So who's your biggest loser out of the cars still on track? Who would be your biggest loser of the race? We have Stephen Messi. He's down 9 positions, but maybe something
Ryan Doucette. Ryan Doucette is down 16 positions from his 13th starting spot in P29.
Ryan Doucette, the last car on the lead lap right now, so all the way at the end of the field, but he does look like he's got a clean car, so maybe just playing the smart game here. We've, like we said, 2 cautions in just 20 laps. Maybe he's just trying to make it to the end and see how many places he can gain on attrition. But we are lining up double file, so the light's out on the pace car. We're going to go green this time around. Interesting to see the manufacturers of choice in this field. A lot of Toyotas, a few Chevrolets, and not many Fords in the top 20 at all. I know all the cars drive the same, but just interesting to see what some of these drivers are choosing to pick based on brand allegiances. Richard, which NASCAR car do you drive when you are racing?
I'm a very, very big Toyota fan. I drive the Powerside Motorsports Toyota Camry. I'm not as good as many of these top split drivers, but I do very much enjoy racing the Cup car whenever I can. What is yours, Arjuna?
I think the only one I own right now is the Chevrolet ZL1, and that's only because I started racing the Cup cars more when that came out, and so I thought I'd buy the newest one. But I think I kind of like to drive the new Ford Mustang, so maybe I'll have to give that a go at some point. But here we go. You can hear the engines revving up. Pace car pulls in, leaves the field in control of Donovan Strauss. And as they approach the line, Donovan Strauss waiting a long time, but going to get a good jump here. Jordi Lopez on the outside is going to slot back in before Caden Honeycutt can make an attempt to pass him. Further back in your field, some cars trying to make the outside line still work. With Trevor Perry up a few places from his restarting position. He's looking to move up into 3rd right now. If Caden Honeycutt moves to the outside line, which he doesn't do, he slots back into the inside. The inside line definitely the dominant line as these cars have new tires right now. As Jimmy
I feel
Mullis,
that as we're progressing through this race, it's really important that you get that drive off of 2, just to make that move in 3 and 4.
Absolutely, and Jimmy Mullis was trying to work the outside there, but made contact. I think that was with the car of that's a Toyota behind him. I think that might have been Will Norton, so almost a close call for one of your Coca-Cola eNASCAR drivers, but he moves back down onto the inside now. As we see the 9 car in front of Nick Delectico running very high out of the line there. Nick, your pole position winner, slowly falling through the field right now. He has not been able to get back down to the inside line as Malik Ray now makes the pass. Will Norton is going to look to get past as well. Nick Delectico now back down into 14th position. Out front though, Donovan Strauss still leading this race. As you can see them fanning out even 3 wide at times. Malik Ray again looking to the inside. I think that's on Brandon Hoff. I apologize, that's the car of Colton Salek. But now he looks to the inside of Brandon Hoff in front of him. Some great battling happening here. Lots of these drivers still being very aggressive, despite already having had 2 cautions. Casey Kerwin now up into 3rd. Trevor Perry around the outside as Derek Justice may be looking to help give Trevor a little bit of a push.
Jordi Lopez looking to get on the inside of the 29 and does. Casey Kerwin really trying to go for that lead early in this race.
And Casey Kerwin seeing Trevor Perry up there and maybe thinking that Trevor can give him a little bit of a push. Let's see how it's going to go around the outside. He's alongside the 51 of Donovan Strauss. Derek Justice a little too far back to help Trevor Perry and Casey Kerwin push their way to the front as they go around the flat out 3 and 4. You can see those guys on the outside having a decent run. Let's see how it goes around 1 and 2, where they do have to lift a little bit. Casey Kerwin running a little bit of a higher line. You do see Caden Honeycutt getting a little bit out of the groove, and Jimmy Mullis, I think, taking that as maybe a sign to look to the outside, but now looking back to his inside. Let's ride on board with Jimmy Mullis. Not a great view, so let's switch to a better view and let's see if we can find one.
Jordi Lopez trying to maintain that outside on Jimmy Mullis.
And you can see Jimmy's trying to find a run, looking to the inside of Blake Bryan in front of him, I think that is. And forcing Blake Bryant to run into that high line. Casey Kerwin is up into 2nd place now. Trevor Perry has moved also down into that inside line to take 4th. But Malik Ray, he's now behind Brandon Hoff. And I think trying to give him and Jimmy Mullis a push. Malik Ray up 25 positions. 31 laps into this race. He's now got only 9 more guys in front of him to pass. Casey Kerwin really hounding the rear of Donovan Strauss right now. He just doesn't have anywhere to go. He's got these great runs.
He might have some help from Caden Honeycutt if he's able to pop outside out of 2.
Might need a little more help than that. Maybe the drivers behind also looking, but Trevor Perry trying to block Jimmy Mullis, who goes aggressively down to the inside. He's going to take 4th position, I think, Jimmy Mullis here. Getting a push from Brian Bryant behind. Most of your eNASCAR drivers now up into the top 10. There's still a few struggling a little further, but I have to assume we're still early into this race, and maybe as the long run progresses, and Malik Ray diving to the inside of Brandon Hoff, that McDonald's sponsored car. Some of your drivers stuck a little further back, maybe looking to move further into this field. We have seen drivers be very aggressive down that back straight, Richard, trying to make a move either to the inside, but we're now 10 laps into this run. With the last caution coming out with lap 20, how does that affect our fuel strategy?
Well, it's just seeing how aggressive these drivers are racing right now. It's really important just to, if you're going to make a move, you really have to make sure that you have a chance to make it stick. Because in one of the previous laps, we saw Jordi Lopez. Oh, as we talk, Jordi Lopez hits the 12 car of Brandon Hoff, which causes I believe our 3rd caution of the day.
That is our 3rd caution. You see incident still happening. That was the 11 of, I believe that's Ryan Duchette, if I'm remembering correctly. I think he just went hard into the inside wall, or the outside wall, but let's take a look first. The incident involving Brandon Hoff. I believe that's Caden Honeycutt. Which car was that that you said, Richard, who came up high?
It was the 5 car, Jordi Lopez.
Okay. Unfortunately, I have car numbers, the custom numbers turned on, so I'm seeing the custom numbers that some of these drivers have picked. An unfortunate incident there. Let's see if we can try and ride on board with Jordi Lopez.
It does seem that Jordy just went a little bit high over that white line and seemed to just come up.
And I think Jordi Lopez may have gotten away with that, but I think the car that is beside him, I'm not sure exactly who that is. As we try and find just which driver that was with the significant damage on their front bumper. Their cars must be coming down pit lane right now. Let's see if we can find this out quickly.
Stephen Massey, unfortunately, the 35, got the brunt of that McDonald's car there.
Indeed, but we watch the race off pit lane. Donovan Strauss again staying out front, but we now have both Casey Kerwin and Jimmy Mullis, two Coca-Cola eNASCAR drivers, up into second and third. Hayden Honeycutt is going to be in fourth, and Malik Ray up 29 positions, 36 laps into this race. He's now in fifth position. Your biggest loser, though, right now, I believe, is the pole position man, Nick Indelectico, currently down in 19th position. Just unfortunately got stuck on the outside of that last restart, Richard, and could not make his way down.
Indeed, but the good news is that there is still a lot left in this race, and given the aggression that we're seeing from these drivers, I believe there will be more potential incidents.
We're already at caution number 3. We're at lap 37. I had to quickly correct myself there, but we've already done 30 laps, so this might turn out to be quite a long broadcast, Richard. I hope you're ready.
Oh, absolutely. If I recall, I saw you do that Nürburgring race, the LN, on your own, so I'm sure at least you have the experience of a potential long race.
Maybe the experience, but will my voice hold up? That is the question. A lot of the drivers currently in your top 10, though, and even looking back into your top 20, lots of drivers up considerable number of positions. Donovan Strauss up 11, Jimmy Mullis. I think Casey Kerwin unfortunately got a speeding penalty because he has fallen to the rear of this field. So Casey Kerwin was up into second place, but now all the way back at the rear, and he's going to do all that work again. 29 cars still on the lead lap, I believe. That's going to be a hard work for him to do again, Richard, no matter how easy he made it look just before.
Well, the most important thing, if I were Casey, is to race hard, but to race clean and try not to get into other drivers' incidents. Just seeing the aggression, seeing how much people are fighting for real estate so far in this at Texas.
We do also see Malik Ray, I believe, on pit lane. I'm not sure exactly what he is doing. Maybe just falling to the back with Casey Kerwin to have some fun. I think for these drivers, these races, an opportunity for them to blow off some steam compared to the serious competition that they have to face in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola Series. So maybe just for Malik Ray, opportunity to come in and have some fun.
Remember that these cars are all identical setups, so none of these eNASCAR Coca-Cola Series drivers are using their setups normally that they would use in the Pro Series. So it's for them, I would just say it's just a little extra practice.
Just an opportunity to measure themselves against regular iRacing competition. And obviously, fixed setup, I think, an attraction to a lot of these drivers. There's a lot of work that goes into their setups, like we were talking about, for the eNASCAR Coca-Cola Series. The opportunity here to just jump in and race without that consideration. But out front, lights are out on the pace car. Donovan Strauss will again lead this field to green, but Jimmy Mullis, up 25 positions, is going to be starting to his outside. Caden Honeycutt and Trevor Perry both doing a good job to hang around in this top group for the last fuel run. That was our third caution of the day. Let's see if we can get a nice green flag run. Donovan Strauss again waiting a long time, but here we are, away we go. We are green flag racing again at Texas. Caden Honeycutt immediately gets to the inside of Jimmy Mullis, as does Blake Bryant behind him. Blake Bryant getting to the inside of Trevor Perry. I believe both Trevor Perry and Jimmy Mullis are, no, Jimmy Mullis able to get to the inside for a second, but Blake Bryant still looking. Trevor Perry, unfortunately, still stuck up there with Michael I believe that Michael Fenlassen sitting in 5th position now, taking the position away. Eric Justice also
the majority of this top group is still 2 by 2.
And I think, at least from the front, we can see cars on the outside struggling for track position, as Trevor Perry continues to struggle there. Jordi Lopez is behind him on the outside, but not able to get close enough to really give him a push. Let's take a look further back, though. Casey Kerwin, he's already up into 21st place. He's making it look easy. Malik Ray also in 24th, as he now looks to the outside. Casey Kerwin, the number 1 car in this session, the highest rating iRating driver. His iRating, according to my overlay, 8,582. As he continues to work his way, now looking to the inside of Michael Gariglia, a fellow eNASCAR competitor. And that is Steve Sheehan also in front of them. It's another eNASCAR competitor. So Casey Kerwin currently carving his way through the field up into 19th place after having to start right at the back. But out front, Donovan Strauss still out front. Caden Honeycutt stuck on the outside. Jimmy Mullis now on the inside. You can see everyone in your top 5 is up at least 10 positions. As I say that, Trevor Perry still looking on the outside right now, not able to really make a way down to the inside. And I think Jordi Lopez is going to also make his way past before Trevor's going to have a chance to move back down. Richard, any battles in particular that you're focusing on right now?
There's just so many battles throughout the field. I'm just trying to take a look at everything up here. It does look like there is a lap car that Donovan is coming up to, the 28 of Max Brady. So hopefully all these battles will be able to continue after this lead group passes Max here.
Max Brady about a second off the pace right now. We ride on board with your leader, Donovan Strauss.
Looks like Jimmy Mullis has gotten on the inside of Donovan Strauss, so he's looking to take the lead.
Jimmy Mullis trying to take the lead. Blake Bryant giving him a push. And I do think that Jimmy Mullis is going to lead across the line after starting all the way back in 27th place. As Trevor Perry now 3 wide. Caden Honeycutt up on the outside as Jordi Lopez looks the inside. Drivers being very aggressive. That lap car not a factor right now. More of a factor just how aggressive these drivers are being right now. We've already seen 3 cautions. We really don't want to see a 4th. As Trevor Perry continues to get hung out to dry on the outside. I don't know if he's getting hung out to dry or if he keeps trying to make that outside line work. But Donovan Strauss,
if he can attempt one of the other fellow drivers to go outside with them, they might be able to get a push on that, to get that push out of 2.
Donovan Strauss giving a big push now to Blake Bryant. Blake Bryant also up 21 positions. Another driver working his way through the field. And I think Blake Bryant going to lead across the line this time around. We're having lead changes constantly. We're seeing big pushes. Remember, this is the 550 horsepower package with a big spoiler. So momentum, a big deal in these cars. I think that's one of the reasons why we're seeing so much fighting up and down the field. Casey Curran, after starting all the way back in the field, up into 13th. As he moves his way up into 12th now. Brian Lepard getting stuck on the outside as well. Malik Ray, he also had to go to the end. Well, I don't think he had to go. He chose to go to the end. Maybe looking to have some fun. He's up into 21st, now looking on the inside of Will Norton. That rowdy energy car, slowly working its way up. He's not being as decisive as Casey Curran is. Casey now up into 11th position. That Air Jordan car really springing its way through the field right now. Out front, Donovan Strauss.
Steve Sheehan is also having a very strong run in the McDonald's car, one of our other Coca-Cola NASCAR drivers.
Steve Sheehan up into 18th place right now, but out front, Donovan Strauss has moved Blake Bryant up into the outside line, and now he's retaken the lead. Caden Honeycutt, Jordy Lopez, Jimmy Mullis all on the inside line behind him, and now Blake Bryant's going to be side by side with Jimmy Mullis. Derek Justice right behind them. Blake Bryant able to slot in. Trevor Perry still on the outside line, but now it does look as though he's got a friend, Casey Kerwin. Casey up into 9th position. Can Casey help push Trevor? Trevor's been trying to make this outside line work this entire race. Maybe these two drivers with some help can work even further forward. As Jimmy Mullis looking to the outside now, as I think both Trevor and Casey hit the wall. Derek Justice sliding up the track, and I think that does mean Trevor Perry might have a little bit of damage. Casey Kerwin does get by on the inside there, but let's see what happens to Trevor Perry now. Was having a very strong race. Potential contact with the wall.
Trevor's car seems all right as of now. There might be a little bit of damage on that right front fender there.
Caden Honeycutt, though, diving to the inside now with Donovan Strauss. Jordy Lopez also looking to the inside. It does look as though now most of your cars content to run on that bottom line. If there is a pass, it's mostly happening when cars getting forced into that outside line by cars having a better run behind. I think the good news here, Richard, is the cars aren't being too aggressive, trying to block some of these runs from some of these drivers.
I'm pretty sure that the blocking will become more aggressive as we go on later in the race. Right now, everyone seems to have a little bit of give and take at the current moment.
Absolutely, as Caden Honeycutt currently leading from Jordy Lopez. Blake Bryant moving his way on the inside of Donovan Strauss. Derek Justice also moving his way down the inside, sorry. Jimmy Mullis, a little pin back there right now, but for Jimmy Mullis, he was leading the race at one point, up 26 positions. He's still in 6th place right now with a clean car. Maybe just content to ride out the next little bit. We're going to quickly take a look at when some of these cars last came down pit road. For most of them, it was on lap 35 in that last caution period, so we've had a 20-lap green flag run now. Richard, just remind us again, how long is the fuel window here, and when do we expect to see these cars coming down pit road if we stay green?
I would say around 66, 67 laps or so, as Casey Kerwin gets a really big push from Colin Bowden. I think anything after that, it's not really worth it to stay out. But it also depends on whoever pits in early. It might force some of these drivers' hands to get those fresh tires.
So potentially looking at least a 30-lap run left before cars start to think about coming down pit road. Casey Kerwin getting a little stuck now in 9th position, but out front, Caden Honeycutt and Jordy Lopez continue to battle side by side. I think Caden's going to try and slip to the inside now in between Jordy Lopez and Blake Bryant. Derek Justice looking to the outside. I think getting shuffled back a bit by Jimmy Mullis. Excuse me.
He's trying to use that side draft.
And despite what many people have said, it was confirmed by the developers that side drafting, at least in some capacity, is present in the sim. So maybe not a crazy idea for some of these guys to do that, but they do need to be careful. Netcode, a major thing for some of these drivers to think about when we're traveling at speeds of up to 300 kilometers an hour. The slightest move could cause chaos, so with 3 cautions already though, I think some of these drivers have worked that aggressiveness out of their system. We're getting a nice little green flag run here. I hope we didn't put a little commentator's curse, because they are still diving to the inside here, still being aggressive, working their way into the corner. Malik Ray, the main car, working his way up. It's looking to the inside of Trevor Perry. Trevor Perry now sliding back down the field again into 14th, trying to make the outside line work still. Malik Ray is going to take the place away and move up into 14th, up 20 positions from the start of this race. Again, he moved to the end of the field, so about 30th place on that last restart, so already up 16 places since the restart.
Derek Justice has managed to pass Blake Bryant for 3rd place. He's looking at Derek driving for the last few laps, and he was making the high line work very, very well. Seemed that Blake wasn't able to keep up the momentum behind Caden Honeycutt, which helped Derek keep that outside line.
We will ride on board with Derek Justice for a lap or two, and we'll go full fan immersion. So enjoy a few laps from the third place driver of Derek Justice as he looks to move his way into first. There we go, a few laps on board with Derek Justice. Jimmy Mullis now on his inside, and Derek's going to get shuffled back a little bit, but Blake Ryan is going to help him on the outside, maybe give him a little bit of a push and move him by.
Not to be outdone, Kane Cook just passed Blake Bryant.
Kane Cook up 32 positions. He started last in the field, 37th, currently running in 5th place. Got just over 100 laps to go though. Still a long race. We're not even close to half race distance yet, so still a long race in front of some of these drivers. We've already got 45 minutes of racing under us, and the prospect of another 45 minutes more if we get more cautions towards the end. But Blake Bryant, I think that's Blake Bryant, who's currently looking to the inside, and Michael Fellerson. Blake Bryant slipped down the field a little bit. He was running up in second at one point.
Fellerson managing to make it work on the outside, but Blake Bryant is getting a little bit of a push from Kerwin. Seems like he has the position coming out of 2. Kerwin's looking at 3 wide, but the 15 car of Fellerson wisely backs out of it.
I think Blake Bryant also sliding up the track a little bit. And Casey Kerwin does contact. Casey Kerwin hitting Michael Fellerson.
No caution.
We stay green. I think part of that, though, was the 32 car of Colin Bowden. I think he actually pushed Casey Kerwin a little bit up the track into the 15 of Michael Fennelson. But Casey Kerwin still looks to have a clean car. And he's now on the bumper of Colin Bowden. But moving out front again, Jordy Lopez is your leader from Caden Honeycutt, Jimmy Mullis, Jarrett Justice, and Kane Cook, the top 5. Malik Ray currently up into 12th position after having to, or choosing again, to restart at the field, coming down 2 laps after everybody else to take another set of fresh tires and a full tank of fuel. Having some fun up into 11th.
3 wide for that lead out of 2. It's now 2 wide. Looks like Caden's trying to get push Jimmy here. Alrighty. The 3 leaders, the 4 leaders here, they all file in. Moving on back, we have Derek Justin, Casey Kerwin once again battling. Casey will take that position into 3.
Jimmy Mullis back out front. Up 26 positions this race as Kane Cook, he's up 33 positions this race, looking to make it 34 on the inside of Jordi Lopez.
These tires are 30 laps old now, so there's not much tire wear left. I don't believe anyone would be considering pit stop anytime soon. But right now, if you're going to make a move, better off making sure that you can make it stick.
And the static camera is giving you just a sense of the speed that these guys carrying. There is a lapped car in front of Jimmy Mullis, and he's going to catch them, I think, in a few laps' time. So let's see. We are about 10 laps away from when I think the earliest point that we might expect cars to come down. That still leaves them a few stops to go to the end, but maybe tires starting to become an issue. We've had a decent green flag run here. Hopefully it will continue further on, but maybe some of these drivers just trying to think a little bit more strategically about how the race will play out.
As these tires have worn, it seems like the drivers are mostly single file. Donovan Strauss just passed Derek Justice as we cross the line for 8th position.
Donovan Strauss was once leading this race, currently running in 8th position. And you are starting to see gaps forming a little bit between certain cars here as the tires start to wear. I think the effect of the momentum at the start of the run, really a big deal, but now these cars having to work, the drivers having to work the cars a bit more, especially through 1 and 2. Driver becoming a bit more important. As we do see Jimmy Mullis, he is slowly closing on that driver in front of him. I believe that's Brandon Hoff, the 12, who was running very high up at one point. He qualified in 4th position. Brandon looking to have a recovery drive, but he needs a caution, and one soon. He will be the lucky dog if we get to that stage.
And not far ahead of Brandon Hoff is Max Brady, who was caught up in that in one of the first wrecks of this race. He did pit on lap 8, so his tires are definitely wearing a lot more compared to many of these drivers who pitted on lap 35.
So not much side-by-side fighting happening, but right now your 32 car, that's Colin Bowden. He's in front of Blake Bryant, and I think Blake Bryant looking to try and get past. I think for a moment coming out of turn 2, he thought about trying to move it onto the inside, but Colin Bowden with a strong block getting around, and we do see Brandon Hoff moving to the outside line, accommodating some of these cars, but in front of him, Kane Cook.
Our top 4 drivers are going 2 by 2, entering into 3.
Jimmy Mullis around the
Caden might
outside.
make it work. Apologies.
No, Jimmy Mullis going around the outside of Caden Honeycutt. Caden looking to the inside. Caden not able to get clear, and Jimmy with a slightly superior run will edge ahead as they dive their way into turn 1. But I think Jimmy Mullis, being smart there, doesn't want to keep fighting. I think he knows that if the fighting continues behind them, they may be able to slowly eke away a gap here. And maybe also thinking about the life of those tires. There are now 40 laps into this run, and mostly single file throughout the field. And you can see
at the current moment, the tires have wore around between 1 and 1.5 seconds, but there's still great racing throughout the pack.
Yeah, and we can actually see from the rear of Jimmy Mullis, Kane Cook now half a second behind, so these top 2 drivers, I think by virtue of not fighting, Jimmy Mullis is falling back a little bit though. I think by virtue of not fighting, slowly going to eke away as that gap continues to go up right now. Casey Curran is looking to the outside here of Jordi Lopez. He's got Blake Bryant behind him trying to give him a push, but I think Casey thinking slightly better, slotting in front of Donovan Strauss. And actually right now, I think Jimmy Mullis, I think he was getting closer there, and I think something happened and he had to lift a little bit, but These first two drivers in your race right now, they have almost a second lead over Kane Cook in that chasing pack.
Kane Cook was trying to make many moves work going into one, so his tires might be giving away very soon.
As Caden Honeycutt and Jimmy Mullis move past another lapped car. And switch back to Kane Cook. He's got a little bit of a gap behind him to Colin Bowden. Colin with a similar gap to Jordi Lopez behind them. But then you see there's this big gaggle of cars. Casey Kerwin in the front of that, but Derek Justice just got shuffled to the outside. I think Donovan Strauss looking to his inside. Malik Ray also thinking about the move. There was some contact.
A little bit of contact. Everything's good though. Malik Ray and the 23 of Colton Salek is trying to make the move on Derek Justice here.
I think Malik got a bit sideways as well coming up the corner. He got very loose and then dived to the inside. I think very fortunate and maybe a good save there from Malik Ray. But Malik Ray up into 8th position now. Steve Sheehan also in 12th, so you have 4 Coca-Cola eNASCAR drivers in your top 15. Very strong running from all of these World Championship drivers. As we actually look, Steve Sheehan looking to the inside of Michael Fennelson, and he's going to make the move stick, I think. Michael trying to block him just a little bit too late and had to compromise the entry into turn 3. As Alec Martinez also looks to get the move done on Michael. Out front though, your leader, he's now got clear track in front of him. And as he works his way around turn 3 and 4 again on his almost 50 lap old tires. As Richard's been telling us, between 60 and 66 laps the fuel window. Maybe we'll see some of these cars starting to come down pit lane soon. I think Blake Bryan just had an issue though. He's fallen well down the field, down into 18th place. Now let's go and take a look at this. Contact with the car of Michael Fennelson and able to gather it up nicely. Does lose a lot of positions, but might have got away with what could have been a much bigger incident there.
There's still a little bit of action down the field. The 37 of Jerry Keat going on the inside of Briar LaPrade. 26 of Josh Berry is also trying to, he might be able to make it 3 wide into 3 on diving down on the bottom of the 37 Budweiser car.
So action
and he makes a couple positions there.
So action at the tail end of your top 20. We just saw Malik Ray getting past Casey Kerwin. Casey Kerwin now really starting to struggle, and you can see Malik Ray is pulled quite a little gap to Casey Kerwin. Now Casey Kerwin must be struggling with those tires and maybe going to be one of your first cars down pit road, as you see Colton Salek and Derek Justice behind him eyeing him up. As Colton Salek continues to try and make that outside work, I think Derek Justice trying to get to his inside. Derek Justice though going side by side with Steve Sheehan. Steve Sheehan looking to get into the top 10 for the first time today. Not able to get the move done though.
Derek Justice seems to be struggling a little bit. He was up there early on, but seems like he's been dropping a little bit as he does maintain the position over Steve Sheehan though.
Out front though, Jimmy Mullis, your race leader, he's taken over from Caden Honeycutt. But now that gap back to the 3rd place car of Kane T. Cook. It slowly come down from a second to half a second. So the fight out front not done yet, but you can see the gap from Malik Ray all the way back to the car Colton Salek. Colton Salek running in 8th position right now. Single file action through most of your field. We are getting ready for pit stop time All of these cars last coming down on lap 35 when we had our last caution. We're now on lap 88. So about a 50 lap run so far. We're within 10 laps maybe seeing the first car coming down pit lane.
If I were one of, let's say, Casey Kerwin or Nick Delecto, I would consider moving it, going on to pit lane real soon, with perhaps maybe within 5 laps. Just seeing their lap times drop. Try and make the undercut work.
Derek Justice actually getting past Casey Kerwin that last lap. And now Alec Martinez looking to the inside of Casey Kerwin. Casey Kerwin slipping back down the field after fighting all the way to the front of it, after moving to the end, having to serve an end of line penalty for what we presume was a speeding penalty. And Steve Sheehan also looking to the inside, but coming back to the outside.
Casey trying to block Steve Sheehan a little bit, but spotter says that McDonald's car is there.
We do have a taker down onto pit lane. I believe Steve Massey, one of the cars who took significant damage earlier, so maybe he's, with his damage, consuming a little more fuel and having to come down a little bit earlier. We're now onto lap 91. Casey Kerwin continuing to slip back. He's now into 13th position, and Josh Berry up 16 places so far, looking to his inside. You can see how much dirt these cars have on them, Richard. It's very cool to see, 90 laps into this race, these cars are getting dirty, and they're not too banged up either yet.
That's what I really, really like about iRacing, the service, not just for these Cup cars, but for other cars. There's a lot of dirt accumulation on the tracks. If someone does slide, there might be tire marks as well.
Side-by-side action for third place, Kane T. Cook and Colin Bowden. Kane Cook stuck on the outside line right now as Colin Bowden looking to move his way up the field right now.
Cook trying to pinch Bowden a little bit. He might be able to make that outside line work if he can get far enough into 3.
The outside line into 1 and 2 definitely working stronger now than it did earlier in the run. The problem is more the flat out 3 and 4, where the shortest distance being on the low line, benefiting those cars able to get there. But Kane Cook not willing to give this up without a fight, and Malik Ray maybe looking to come and give him a hand, push him a little bit further, as again, Colin Bowden though giving him a little bit of the nose there and chopping off Kane Cook. Now Jordi Lopez and Malik Ray looking to the inside. Some great battling still happening now as we get towards the end of your fuel run. Cars having done almost 60 laps now on this set of tires. Fuel tank's also going to be emptied, as Malik Ray almost went 3 wide there, having to check up and fall in behind Jordi Lopez, as Kane Cook falling a little bit back now. Eric Justice is now caught back up to this group of cars. He's now just a few tenths off the rear of Colton Salek. Let's go ahead and take this time to quickly review your Coca-Cola eNASCAR drivers. Jimmy Mullis continuing to lead after starting all the way back in 27th place. Malik Ray up into 5th, trying to take away 4th position from Jordi Lopez. Then you have Steve Sheehan. He's in front of Casey Kerwin in 13th and 14th places. Final Coca-Cola eNASCAR driver is Michael Gariglia. He's currently in 24th place. He's 11 seconds behind the leaders. I'm not sure exactly what happened. He does look to have a little bit of damage on that right side bumper. Not the cleanest and easiest race. But out front, Jimmy Mullis getting challenged by Caden Honeycutt. Caden Honeycutt taking the lead away from Jimmy Mullis.
That battle is not over yet. If Jimmy Mullis can peek inside into 3, he might be able to get him back.
Top 15 cars separated by less than 3.5 seconds. Still lots of close action to come as we move our way towards the 100th lap of this race.
After an easy first few laps, there's been a lot of we're almost at near the end of this tire run, so it's good to see all these drivers being so competitive, even with foreign tires.
3 cautions in the first 30 laps. Unfortunately, kind of making the first act of this race a little bit stop-start. But we've been glad for this 60-lap green flag run so far. As we continue to inch closer to pit stops. Maybe some of these drivers going to play some strategy. I'm pretty sure when they come around.
I personally think if I was Casey Kerwin, I would consider going down to pit road. If you look at his lap times have just been falling, and he might lose another spot here to
I think
the 37.
I think the problem with that, Richard, is that we talk about the fuel window being 66 to 67 laps. Until they come across the line to take that 100th lap, it's going to be hard for them to get to the end from here. So maybe they're just trying to play it strategically so that if there is another caution, they don't have to put any fuel in the car. It's just for tires the next time down. But Casey Kerwin is slipping back further. He's now down into 15th place. Maybe overdriving those tires early in the run. Out front, though, you have 2 Coca-Cola eNASCAR drivers in 2nd and 3rd, pressuring Caden Honeycutt. As Jimmy Mullis looking to the inside there. And we have finished 100 laps here, so maybe you will start to see cars coming down pit lane. Malik Ray also looking to the inside now of Caden Honeycutt. Do have some cars lower down the field who are taking this opportunity to come down to pit lane. Trevor Perry, one of them, he qualified in 2nd. He's all the way down in 28th now. Parker Alexander, another one, and here it comes.
I believe some are starting to, looks like Caden might, almost.
So quite a few drivers coming down. Jimmy Mullis, Caden Honeycutt, Jordy Lopez, Donovan Strauss, Steve Sheehan, Casey Kerwin, Blake Bryant, Sam Adams. We have a lot of cars down onto pit lane. And you can see there, Caden Honeycutt had to slow to get into his box. And then I think maybe went a bit far forward. Let's see who wins this race off pit lane. Actually, we're going to keep following these drivers. Unfortunately, our track map doesn't work at this time. Malik Gray continuing to stay out. Maybe hoping that if a caution comes out in the next few laps, maybe a car entering pit lane, causing one, he can trap these cars a lap down and get his positions, and hold this position, rather.
I just saw Kane Cook enter pit lane. He might have sped. I'm not too sure whether the iRacing... it looks like he's going back.
Here we go, Jimmy Mullis in front of Caden Honeycutt, Donovan Strauss, Jordy Lopez, Steve Sheehan, Stephen Massey, and Trevor Perry. That strategy call may have worked for him. He's actually closed a little bit on some of these
sorry
drivers.
To interrupt. Derek Justice hit the wall entering pit lane.
So there was drama on the entry to pit lane, but it does not appear as though it's brought out the caution. And I think, Derek, that might be race over. We're going to rewind quickly and try and take a look at this incident. Just coming in a little too hot, losing the rear of the car, and into the wall. He's now back in his box, so he took the tow. Malik Ray down on pit lane. Where is he going to exit? Jimmy Mullis coming around the tri-oval. Can see Malik Ray on the inside there. Jimmy Mullis at full speed. Malik Ray is not going to be able to get up to speed in time. And where is Malik Ray going to come out? I believe he's going to cycle in front of Jordy Lopez. Jordy's going to go around the outside. Jordy is going to make the move. He's got that much more momentum. Kane Cook might also be thinking about a move, but hopefully Malik Ray now able to get up to speed. He's now in 6th place, well, 5th place, as the car of Josh Berry now dives down into pit lane. But good to see, Richard, everyone able to get down onto pit road without bringing out any cautions for green flag stops.
This pit stop might be able to bring everyone to the end of the race, barring any cautions.
And maybe you will actually see some of these drivers thinking about that, maybe saving a bit of fuel just to ensure they have the spare fuel for a green, white, and checkered. But we almost go 3 wide there. Malik Ray, I think that's Jordy Lopez. Donovan Strauss on the outside ran very high up the track. And Derek Justice in front of them. He is back out here. He's a few laps down, and I think he's going to potentially cause an issue here. He's not up to speed. He's going to need to go high, but he's holding that bottom line right now. very experienced drivers here. How are they going to deal with the situation? Derek Justice.
He's not going up high into one, so many of these drivers are going to have to pass. Might have to pass in the good old-fashioned way.
They are too wide, too deep at the front of your field. The Malik Ray on the inside of Caden Honeycutt. Kane Cook able to clear Jordy Lopez, who was on the outside, and also able to clear Caden Honeycutt. Kane Cook up into second place. And just something to note, Stephen Massey, he pitted on lap 88. He's one driver who definitely will need one more stop. Trevor Perry, he came in on lap 99, made the strategy work and jumped a few cars. He will have worse tires come the end of this race. As we see behind, Hayden Honeycutt getting passed by Jordy Lopez there.
Sorry to interrupt, Arjuna, but looks like our one car in Casey Curran is currently a lap down. Something might have happened during the pit stop.
I believe Casey did have to come back down for a speeding penalty. I'm not 100% sure. But like we said, Casey Curran, your only Coca-Cola NASCAR driver, currently a lap down. He was running quite high up, struggled with tires at the end of this long green flag run that we just had. Cars having just come down pit road. But Malik Ray currently leading this race up 33 positions, and in second place, Kane Cook up 35 positions. So two drivers who did not qualify, did not set any type of qualifying time, up all the way at the front of your field. Derek Justice does appear to be slowly pulling away, maybe by virtue of having slightly fresher tires. Maybe that damage that he got on pit lane not so bad, or he was able to get the majority of it repaired. Some action at the tail end of the top 10. In 11th place, Jerry Keat, currently in front of Trevor Perry is the car behind, but Jerry Keat's currently on the tail, rather, of Colton Salek and Colin Bowman. Jerry qualified all the way back in 36, another car not to put in a qualifying time, but again, maybe not showing the pace as someone like Malik Ray, but having a very clean run so far, and up 25 positions into 11th position.
This lead group of 11 or 12 cars seem to be in that driver's seat, although Trevor is over half a second behind Jerry in 11th.
And you did see Malik Ray getting aggressive with the blocking there, going all the way down to the inside as they came down the back straight. Some great racing going on out front here.
Follow Cook as Kane Cook goes to the lead and exiting 2.
So Kane Cook out front now. Malik Ray down on the inside getting a push from Jimmy Mellis, but Jordy Lopez able to clear him now, and maybe Jordy Lopez going to try and pull in front, and he does manage to get in front of Malik Ray, and Malik Ray will give him a push as they try to catch back up to Kane Cook, who's got a 0.4 of a second advantage over these guys behind him. Richard, I have to think some of these drivers being a bit smarter now. We're seeing some aggressive walking still, but also not as much aggressive passing, drivers lifting out of the throttle, not trying to force a run. I think that long green flag run has really made them think that maybe they can go green to the end, and they need to preserve their tires to get there.
Absolutely. You see some of the drivers that, most notably Casey Kerwin, he was very, very aggressive at the beginning, but he dropped back down, and unfortunately due to a potential pit penalty, he's mired down in 24th, although he is in the lucky dog position in case this race does have a caution between now and the end of the race.
So Casey Kerwin back in 24th place. We'll be hoping for a caution. I know that we currently aren't hoping for a caution. We're very much enjoying this green flag running. Kane Cook continuing to extend that advantage. Even with the draft, Jordy Lopez in his fight with Malik Ray not able to close that gap significantly yet.
With this high downforce package, despite Kane Cook being 0.4 ahead of Jordy Lopez, if Jordy, Malik, Jimmy, Donovan, they work together, they'll be right back up there and be able to fight for the lead as the lead, Kane Cook's lead continues to dwindle.
Went away and hid our timing tower for you so you could take a look at some of these shots. Some great views of these cars currently circulating around the track. You still have 23 cars on your lead lap. 36 cars took the checkered, the start flag rather. But 118 laps done. I think Kane Cook now moving down towards the inside as Jordy Lopez getting pushed by Malik Ray all the way around the outside. Malik Ray not able to clear Kane Cook immediately, but able to get the run around the exit of turn 4. So Jordy Lopez now out front. Kane Cook did have a few laps out of clean running. Now fighting further back as Malik Ray, who did give Jordy Lopez that push to the front of the field, continues to run out front.
Top 10 cars separated by only approximately 1.2 seconds. Jerry Keat, 11th place, is struggling to hold on to the end of Colton Salek's draft.
And behind Jerry Keat, Trevor Perry, the next car behind, almost a full second behind those, are really struggling to hold on. Trevor did come down a few laps before everyone else, and maybe starting to feel the effect of tire wear a little before some of these other drivers.
The downside of pitting early at a track as abrasive as Texas is that later on in the run, Trevor Perry is going to have older tires. He won't be able to keep up unless there will be a way for the field to bunch up together, which, given the aggressiveness of these drivers, could happen. Although, as commentators, we of course would like the rest of this race to go green flag.
Of course, and we are now on lap 122, 40 laps to go, and I have to assume with 20 laps into this fuel run, if we do get a caution flag, all drivers will come down pit road. Let's take a look back out front though. Not much has changed. It's still Jordy Lopez from Malik Ray, Kane Cook, Jimmy Mullis, Donovan Strauss, and Caden Honeycutt. Steve Sheehan's worked his way up into 7th in that McDonald Chevrolet. And Alec Martinez, Colin Bowden, and Colton Salek round out your top 10. Jerry Keat slowly falling away now into the clutches of Trevor Perry.
If Keat and Perry do work together, they might be able to find a way to the back of Jerry Keat's draft and make this 11-car group a 13-car group. As Trevor Perry easily passes Jerry Keat for 11th place.
They continue to stay single file out front. A little further back though, Alec Martinez looking to the outside there. Jimmy Mullis also looking to the outside now of Kane Cook. He's getting some help from some of the cars behind him. Malik Ray moving to that outside to get the push. And you're seeing just how much action actually happens on an oval. These guys are having to fight tooth and nail for every position. They have to watch the draft coming as Jimmy Mullis gets past Kane Cook and slots himself up into 3rd place. Fantastic move from the Coca-Cola NASCAR e-NASCAR driver.
I really like seeing how methodical these drivers are. Like, if you see they might be looking aggressive, but they're trying to find that run, whether it's to the outside or to the inside. And as you've seen throughout this race, if you get help from another driver, they can push you to the lead. And I'm sure that as we go onto the final 10, 20 laps of this race, those moves will become more and more aggressive.
Absolutely. We're currently on lap 126. When we come around the next time, it will be 40 laps to go. As your leaders work their way past Brandon Half. A lot of damage to that number 12 McDonald Chevrolet. And he's going to stay up high and let all of these guys by. But Malik Ray still looking to stay in second right now. He hasn't really tried to fight the leader too much. He's been content to kind of run around in second. I wonder what his strategy has been. But for Jordi Lopez, very content. Let's go a little bit further back in your field though. Colton Salick has made his way past Steve Sheehan. Steve Sheehan running at 7th in this group at one point, back into 10th. Maybe struggling with the tires a little bit more. And if we move back to your leading, or the tail end of your lead lap group, you have Will Norton, Michael Gariglia, and Stephen Massey. Stephen Massey just coming down onto pit lane. He pitted very early compared to everyone else. Maybe coming down to take some damage compared to earlier, and now he's slightly off strategy from the rest. But out front, Malik Ray still pushing Jordi Lopez. What we're going to do right now, there's not much fighting. We're going to, just as I say that, Malik Ray looking to the inside, and he's going to get the move done on Jordi Lopez. Jordi Lopez not able to mount any type of defense to that move.
Kane Cook, not to be outdone, looking on the inside of Jimmy Mullis and takes 3rd position.
Riding on board with Donovan Strauss. He's got a great view of the 4 cars still in front of him right now. And Donovan Strauss was leading the race at one point. The driver from Georgia will be looking to get back to the front. 37 laps to go as we come around. Complete one more lap here. An hour and 20 minutes of racing done. And we're only looking at about 15 more minutes to go. So as we enter the last stage of this race, who is going to turn out on top?
Malik Ray there trying to take an alternate line through 1 and 2 to hopefully get out of the drafting range of Jordi Lopez and Kane Cook to no avail.
So Malik Ray, obviously with all the clean air in front of him, there are some laps cars in front. But hopefully they're going to stay out of his way. As we ride on board from the left rear suspension of the Rowdy Energy Toyota Camry. And you can see there are people getting slight runs and looking out of line, but not really trying to commit too hard at this point yet. What a great shot you can see of all the cars filing through the tri-oval here. So they're definitely reaching slower speeds now than they were before. Malik Ray also lifting on the entry into turn 3 now. They're now 1.5 seconds slower than they were at the start of this run.
Jordi Lopez looking to get on the outside of Malik Ray, pinching him a little bit. And Jordi might be able to get this. Yes, he does. He is currently in the lead, but not to be outdone. As I was looking at 3 wide, but everyone seemed to file back in at the white line.
You could see how, you could hear just how much Malik was having to lift in both ends of the track. Tire wear a real thing here as we're 35 laps into this green flag run. They continue to ride 2 wide, a little deeper in this lead pack. Alec Martinez has moved his way back up into 6th position. And he's now working on the outside of Donovan Strauss. Looking to take away 5th position from that driver from Georgia.
If one of these top 4 pops up in front of Alec Martinez, they might be able to go for the lead here.
Malik Ray really defending hard from Kane Cook, running all the way down the inside on the back straight, and Alec Martinez slowly working his way up around the outside. He's already up into fourth. He's trying to take third away from Kane Cook now. He's going to get to work on the second place Malik Ray in just a few corners. Malik really blocking hard from Kane Cook. I don't think Kane's very happy in that car. Alec Martinez now around the outside. He's going to get around Malik Ray as well, and he's going to be the one looking to challenge Jordi Lopez.
That move by Malik Ray really helped Alec Martinez get to second place. That big block costs Kane Cook a lot of momentum there.
And now we'll see, maybe Jimmy Mullis, you saw what Alec Martinez just did, maybe he's going to try and make the outside work. But Malik Ray continuing to block. Driver of Kane Cook, Kane, I'm sure, is going to start getting more and more frustrated. And maybe this is where we're going to see our fourth caution of the day come out. I hope not. As you see a little bit further back, Donovan Strauss, Caden Honeycutt. Donovan Strauss able to hold the inside there. And Jimmy Mullis now defending from Donovan Strauss. Still have 22 cars on this lead lap. As we see the 9 of, I think that's Colton Salick, working around the outside of Caden Honeycutt there, the car without any number. But out front, Alec Martinez now going to work on your leader, Jordi Lopez. That outside line really coming strong for him.
I think as more as these drivers see how the likes of Caden Honeycutt, Alec Martinez work that outside, I'm sure more of these drivers will be looking there as we enter 27 laps to go, I believe.
Kane Cook has got to the inside of Malik Ray. Jimmy Mullis giving him the push. Malik Ray is now in front of Alec Martinez. Maybe Malik's going to be able to make the outside work now. Right on board with Malik Ray. Jimmy Mullis on his inside. Kane Cook has managed to basically clear Malik Ray coming out of turn 4. As Colton Salick slides in front of Caden Honeycutt to take the position away from him. Colton Salick now right behind Donovan Strauss. Alec Martinez slipping back now. Was able to make that outside work for quite a few laps, but he's now worked his way back to the inside, cutting across the nose of Colton Salick hard. As Malik Ray.
Jordi Lopez. Oh, look.
Sorry to interrupt.
Ray.
There was some net code there. There was some definite net code, and Malik Ray now has some significant damage to the left front corner of his car. Let's see if we can get a better look at that. Maybe from the gearbox of Josh Berry, you can just see on the right-hand side from how we're looking, the left-hand side of his car, a little bit of damage there. Malik Ray now into 11th, running in, challenging for the lead, all the way back now in 11th place. Back out front though, Caden Honeycutt, he was running a little further back right before this incident. He's managed to make it work to his advantage. Now on the outside of Kane Cook, as Kane Cook looks to take it maybe 3 wide. I think Caden Honeycutt had to be sensible there, lifting slightly to let Jordi Lopez slide in front of him. Jordi Lopez having a little bit of connection issues. We're getting a nice push from Caden Honeycutt. Jimmy Mullis on the inside doing the same for Kane Cook. And then Steve Sheehan has worked his way back up towards the front part of this field. He's running towards the tail end of this leading pack for a little while. Now looking on the outside of Donovan Strauss. Richard, if you're one of these drivers, you're coming with 20 laps to go. Which line do you want to be on right now?
I want to be on the outside. I feel that as long as, as we saw with Malik, he was really aggressively blocking, and at times I saw Jordi Lopez trying to block the inside and outside. So I'm good. If I were Kane Cook or Jordi Lopez and I have the lead, I'm going to try my best to block both lanes as much as I can and get that push, because the momentum is just so important in this car, in this package.
Kane Cook now out front. He's going to be doing mirror driving, as you said. Let's ride on with the roll bar. Maybe you can see.
There was a little bit of contact, sorry to interrupt, between Colin Baldwin and Colton Salek.
We switch to the battle between these two drivers. They've fallen a little bit off the lead back. They're still within draft range. But now your top 7, their own little pack. Malik Ray, though, slowly trying to make his way back up through the field. I think he's past the car of Josh Berry now, but Brian LaPrade has made his way past Malik Ray. Brian LaPrade up 14 positions up into 10th place right now.
I'm not too sure if Malik Ray has a chance to defend against these drivers here. Just his lap times have fallen off quite significantly after that netcode incident. He might need a caution just to have a chance in this race to win.
Quite a few cars wanting a caution. Casey Kerwin, Derek Justice, a few cars currently laps down who would want to get some of those laps back. Casey Kerwin in your lucky dog position. So 1 caution is all they would need. We have less than 20 laps to go though, and your leader, Kane Cook, out front from Jimmy Mullis, the Coca-Cola eNASCAR driver. Donovan Strauss, who did lead the race at one point, quite a few laps in fact, he came down onto pit road as the leader under caution twice. He's in 3rd place as these drivers come up to the rear of another lapped car. That's the 30 car.
And that yellow that Casey Kerwin was looking for just came.
Who was involved in that? It's Malik Ray, I believe. Malik Ray, very slow into the inside wall. Let's take a look and see exactly what happened. Riding on the cockpit cam of Malik Ray. I think he just ran high, or some kind of hardware failure potentially, because that is a very unusual incident.
His it might be a failure with the pedals or something. Looking at his speedometer, he just loses 30 kilometers per hour and more and just spins.
That would be my guess as well. And this was when I think we knew there was an issue. You can see how much he's crabbing to the left side. Malik Ray, I think that will be his race over. But that does mean I think Casey Kerwin will be your lucky dog. But as we come down onto pit lane right now, we're going to see, I think, every single car make their way down. It's going to be a 15-lap shootout, I believe. All these cars are going to want tires. Kane Cook first, one of the first cars to pull into the box. As we see the cars make their way into pit lane, Casey Kerwin, indeed the lucky dog. You see his making his way around the pace car. So yeah, we're going to have a shootout here, Richard. It's going to be fascinating till the finish.
And as they say, cautions breed cautions. So given how many laps there are left in this race, I think there'll be more aggression that'll be upcoming.
And so in the race off pit road, all the drivers coming down to get fresh tires. Kane Cook maintains the lead of this race. Jimmy Mullis will be starting in 2nd place. Then Donovan Strauss, Steve Sheehan, Jordy Lopez, Alec Martinez, Caden Honeycutt, Colin Bowden, Wyatt Lepard, and Colton Salick will complete your top 10. One of the big winners there, not just Casey Kerwin, but I think Trevor Perry. He was going to struggle on older tires, and he's shown decent pace earlier in the race. So maybe for Trevor, an opportunity starting in 11th, make his way up the field, back into the top 5, qualifying 2nd, now running 11th. Some of your big winners.
It's possible to choose among all of these drivers. We've seen Jordy Lopez be at the front. He's been very aggressive. Caden Honeycutt, Alec Martinez, they've made moves around the outside. I feel that if you've tried that outside line and see how it works, it's going to be very, very advantageous as we come to these closing stages.
I do believe we might see some waiver rounds as well, so I think we might have a few more cars that manage to get back onto the lead lap here. We will wait and see, though, exactly what happens with these cars out front. Casey Curran entering pit lane now that he is back on the lead lap. He was a lucky dog. Coming in for 4 fresh tires, maybe a splash of fuel, if that's what he needed. But Casey Curran, maybe speeding penalty is what we're predicting or assuming in that last round of stops that we had. Now back on the lead lap. And we saw how aggressive he was, Richard, in the last restart we had. He made his way all the way from that rear of the field back up into the top 5 with just over 10 laps to go. How many places do you think he can realistically expect to make up?
Well, he's going to be at the tail end, I believe. There are wave arounds. I'm not too sure, but I think he will have to stay at the very end, even behind the lap cars. So if he wants to get, it's going to be really hard to pass 20 odd cars in 15 laps. So he might need to move up the standings gradually through other drivers making contact potentially.
And remember, we do have the potential for a green-white checkered at the end of this race. Cars getting their wave around, making their way past the pace car to reform at the end of the field. And the lights are out on the pace car, so we are going to go green flag racing this time around. And I believe that means that we are going to be left with 14 laps to the end.
This style of racing reminds me of the plate tracks a lot in Daytona and Talladega. So I expect to see a lot less give and take and a lot more blocking.
We did see some drivers throwing aggressive blocks like Malik Ray, but other drivers being a bit more sensible. So let's see how this restart plays out. I know we said it's hard to predict, Richard, but if you had to pick one, I'm going to hold you at ransom here. Who are you going to pick?
Jordi Lopez, just because I've seen him go from mid pack all the way to the front. I think he has what it takes. He can pass on the low line, he can pass on the high line. I think if he has a chance, he's going to go and take it. They might even take it 3 wide. Who knows?
Well, Jordi Lopez will be restarting 5th on that inside line, the preferred line on the new tires that we saw. So let's see exactly what comes. Kane Cook will lead your field back to green. And here we go, green flag racing. You can see Casey Curran already trying to make moves happen. Further up, Jimmy Mullis on the outside. He's going to have to try and get back down to the inside right now. There's not a gap anywhere to be seen. On that inside line, it's Kane Cook, Donovan Strauss, that's Jordi Lopez, then that's Caden Honeycutt, and Brian LaPrade has made, and we've got contact back!
There is incident.
That was a big one, guys.
That might have been a commentator's curse. My pick.
Jordi Lopez, unfortunately, I think, made slight contact with the car in front and behind. Let's see if we can get a better angle of this in slow motion.
Seemed to have a bit of an accordion effect.
A little bit there. You could see him making contact with Donovan Strauss, and that's what got him loose. No contact from behind. Caden Honeycutt had nothing to do with that incident, and he went, and unfortunately for Jordi Lopez, he went up straight into Steve Sheehan. Nothing Steve could really do there. But big damage to Jordi Lopez. You can see just the extent of the damage. Not as bad the damage on Steve Sheehan's car, but still some visible damage to that front bumper. He's going to start 6th when we go back racing.
That will give him a little extra drag, but as long as Steve Sheehan is in this pack, and I don't think that he will pit for damage unless there is some engine issues. I think he can still have a good finish. Might not get the win, but a top 5 is not out of the question.
So as we see the lucky dog making his way around the field, all the cars who took the wave around right before that last caution have now dived onto pit lane to get their tires replaced. So we're now going to have quite a few cars. I believe we may even have 28 cars back on the lead lap here. And lights still on the pace car. We're not going to go racing this time around. That leaves a maximum of 10 laps in regulation left. We do have 3 potential green-white checkers available to us. Hopefully we don't require them all. Okay, but Richard, unfortunately now we've jinxed one pick. Who are you going to jinx next? Who is your next pick for the win here?
Caden Honeycutt.
So Caden Honeycutt also has had a good race so far. Very similar colored car to Jordi Lopez. Let's hope he does not end the same fate. And really an unfortunate incident for Jordi Lopez. Nothing really to blame for him. He was just running the inside line flat as you would normally do. And some slight checkups in front of him got him a bit sideways and up into the path of Steve Sheehan, also faultless in this incident.
Jordi Lopez, I don't think he realized that there was going to be a checkup. I don't think he was prepared for it, and just unfortunate that he just got caught up in that.
It's totally understandable. You're, one lap into a shootout to the finish. That is what we were expecting to see. Lights are still on the pace car, so in fact we're going to have a maximum of 9 laps left in regulation. We're coming up to an hour and 40 minutes of the race so far. And I think your drivers are going to get more and more aggressive as more and more cautions happen. I don't think that these drivers are going to want to give up any positions on track.
If Kane Cook manages to hold on for a victory, he will complete the last to first challenge in this race.
There were many drivers who tried to do the no qualifying to first challenge, but Kane Cook, the only person eligible for the last to first challenge. He's had a strong race so far, up 36 positions. But now let's see what he's going to do with 9 laps left in regulation. Can he hold on, or are we going to have a few more cautions to end this race? Let's hope we can finish it in under 2 hours here. These guys have put on a fairly good show. So let's try and make sure it ends on the best possible note.
The lights on the pace car are off, so we'll be going green next time by, lap 159.
And they've started to form up double file. You can see some cars at the back still have a little bit of damage, but for the most part, 27 cars on the lead lap right now. So everybody fighting for points at the finish here. Now remember, this is a 6.5K strength of field race. For those people who do take this as a season-long championship, I'm sure there are some who do, they're going to want a good finish here. And 6.5K means there will be some healthy championship points on offer for them to take home. Cars looking glorious with their spec maps applied. And your pace car lights are out. And hopefully for the last time, we will see it dive down onto pit lane and leave the field in control of your leader, Kane Cook. In the Ford Renegade's car. So you can hear the engine ready to go. And away we go. 9 laps left in this race. Kane Cook holding the lead. Donovan Strauss looking to the inside of Jimmy Mullis here. Hayden Honeycutt.
Brian LaPlatte is going on the inside of Jimmy Mullis, and they're side by side entering 3.
There's much action happening further in the field, but out front, Donovan Strauss still pushing Kane Cook. Jimmy Mullis stuck on the outside right now. There's a potential gap for him to slot down behind Caden Honeycutt, in between him and Steve Sheehan. Steve Sheehan getting a little loose there, and I think Alex Martinez looking to the inside. Steve Sheehan's run a little high up the track, and you can see Alex Martinez looking, but out front, Brian LaPrade on the inside of Donovan Strauss looking to move up into second place. And he does get the move done. Brian LaPrade up 22 positions right now. Now going to try to get to work on the Ford of Kane Cook.
A little bit of checkup from the low lane means that Donovan Strauss might be able to have a chance on Kane Cook.
I think Kane tried to play some games there. I heard him lift out of the throttle, and I think that's what's given Donovan this great run. Donovan's not going to be able to hold it around the outside of 3 and 4, though. Brian LaPrade not able to get down in the inside of Donovan Strauss. Donovan Strauss into second right now. And Alex Martinez right now, the only car really on the outside, trying to work around. That's Colin Bowman, but as I say that, Brian LaPrade, Jimmy Mullis also jumping up into the outside lane. Donovan Strauss also trying to. Brian LaPrade, though, switching back to the inside. And he's going to try and get the move done on Donovan Strauss here now. And there's a little contact between Brian LaPrade and Kane Cook, and that's contact!
They are on the grass, so we are still green flag.
We can see Kane Cook, he had the last to first challenge almost wrapped up. And we still raced green flag, but Brian LaPrade turning Kane Cook. And that has meant that Donovan Strauss will inherit the race lead in front of Coca-Cola NASCAR winner Jimmy Mullis. Caden Honeycutt also trying to work right now on the outside of Jimmy Mullis as Jimmy Mullis tries to get to the inside, and he's managed to get there inside quarter battle with Donovan Strauss. You see Jimmy Mullis trying to hold that white line around the exit of turn 2. He's getting a nice push from Caden Honeycutt. Alex Martinez trying to get to the inside of Colin Bowman. Some aggressive defending here as we're going to come to 3 laps to go. Now Jimmy Mullis out front. He's going to be trying to block the runs of both drivers. Let's see if he's going to be able to mirror drive. Donovan Strauss working the outside of Caden Honeycutt. Caden Honeycutt sliding up the track a little bit.
A little bit of contact there between Caden Honeycutt and Donovan Strauss as they're blocking down into 3.
More contact further back. Trevor Perry getting very sideways as he blocks Colton Salick, but able to keep the car straight. Trevor Perry back up into 6th place right now. He's running quite far down the field right now, earlier in this race, but Trevor Perry fighting back strongly. But out front, Jimmy Mullis still holding the lead, and he's blocking both the high and low line now. Caden Honeycutt looking for a way by.
Caden Honeycutt or Colin Bowden might consider using their bumpers as we enter this final lap.
Colin Bowden is past Donovan Strauss up into 3rd place. Now Donovan Strauss back into 4th. As out front, Jimmy Mullis protecting both lines. You can see Caden trying to do an in and out move, almost like on a road course. He's able to get there, coming out of the tri-oval. Jimmy Mullis now running the high line. Colin Bowden
just bumped Honeycutt a little bit. Might have affected Caden's momentum there.
Caden's still able to hold the inside here, though, and he's going to need to stay low. Jimmy Mullis pinching him as hard as he can. We are 2 wide. There's a little bit of, but there's more contact. Jimmy Mullis in the wall. This is going to be a big one.
Caden Honeycutt wins at Texas.
Coming across the line, Caden Honeycutt will take the green flag. I think Jimmy Mullis technically got second still by 1,000th of a second. But your winner, Caden Honeycutt, after qualifying down in 14th, he ran in the top 10 for most of this race, and a superb job to come home to take the checkered flag. Richard, you got your pick correct. What does it feel like to have such faith in the driver come true?
Well, I've been seeing Honeycutt and previously Kerwin. Unfortunately, my other picks, they didn't have Jordy Lopez didn't have a good race, getting bumped there. But just seeing how methodical some of these drivers were, I thought that if you were trying the low line, trying the high line throughout the race, you would know what you would need to do near the end of the race to get the job done. And congratulations to Caden Honeycutt on a well-deserved victory.
As Caden Honeycutt takes some well-deserved donuts in victory lane. Strength of field, he was the 14 car in this session out of 37 cars, and he had a really strong performance throughout the night to come out on top. Let's go ahead and take a look at your race results then. as Caden Honeycutt's engine blows up. We'll switch to a more happy scene. Yeah, Caden Honeycutt from Texas wins this race by 0.024 of a second from Jimmy Mullis, the NASCAR Coca-Cola driver. Then in third place, Colin Bowden, Alec Martinez, Donovan Strauss, Trevor Perry, Casey Cohen able to make his way up back into 7th place. He was a lap down at one point, but not the finish he would have wanted. Colton Salek comes in 8th place, and then you have Josh Berry and another a Coca-Cola NASCAR driver, Steve Sheehan. You want to take us through the next 10, Richard?
No problem. Jerry Kiet, he had a good car. He was near the end of that first pack, but wasn't able to just consistently crack the top 10 enough to challenge for a top 5 or victory, finishes in 11th. Ryan Doucette, I don't think we talked a lot about him, but he had a quiet race, finished 12th. Spencer Burns, Derek Justice had a good recovery and back to 14th. Will Norton, Michael Fellison, Blake Bryant. Unfortunately, our pole sitter, Nick Delicato, finished 18th. Blaze Crawford finished 19th, and Michael Greligia finished 20th.
Then your cars in the outside of your top 20. Stephen Massey, who took big damage, still managed to recover to be on the lead lap and come in 21st. Then you have Nicholas Shelton, Kane Cook. He got turned from the lead of the race. He'll be very disappointed that he was not able to complete the lost to first challenge, but he'll know that he had a strong performance nonetheless. Then you've got Brad Wright, Brandon Hoff, Briar LaPlade, who was involved with that incident with Kane Cook, and Sam Adams, Jordy Lopez, Malik Ray, and Max Brady. Then some of your cars who did not get very far in this race: Parker Alexander, Todd Guerin, Alan Bowes, Patrick Mallet, Isaac Gann, Stephen Wilson, and Garrett Conrath. And that is your field in today's race. We're going to go ahead and take one final look, though, at that final incident, because I think it was a fairly big incident. So if we can find some good action here, I think this might be... All right, this is with, I think, the second to last lap, so we're going to keep watching here. So you could see drivers fanning out 3 wide going into turn 3. Out front, contact had already started. Jimmy Mullis up into the wall and bouncing back across the track. Derek Justice, one of the cars. Nick, our pole sitter, also caught up in that crash. Yeah, big carnage at the end of that race. So Richard, any parting words before we say goodnight?
It was a fantastic race. Sometimes I felt it was more advantageous being second or third rather than first. As we looked at, Jimmy Mullis was first, was in the lead with a lap to go and 2 laps to go, and he wasn't able to get it done. We saw Kane Cook, Jordy Lopez. None of them were able to keep that lead, which is what the package wanted with this new NASCAR package. But it still had a lot of great racing throughout the field. You can pass on the inside, you can pass on the outside. This Texas reconfiguration really works well with these Cup cars and this package.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this race tonight. If you did, maybe consider subscribing to this channel or going and following me on Twitch. Link is in the bar right now, twitch.tv/Arjuna Kankipati. And for Richard and myself, on behalf of Powerslide Motorsports, thank you for joining us this evening, and we'll see you next time.